All right, today's lesson will be on the volume of a cylinder. Let's look at the formula for the cylinder, for the volume. It comes from the area of a circle. Recall what that is. That's going to be pi times the radius squared. And the only thing that's different is that we're going to multiply the height to it to figure out the insides of this cylinder. So we get pi times the radius squared times the height. And that's going to be the formula we're going to use for the volume of the cylinder. All right, let's look at some problems. Find the volume of the cylinder. We're given the radius is 4 centimeters and the height is 6 centimeters. So we're going to use pi times the radius squared times the height. So we have pi, radius is 4, and the height is 6. Remember order of operations. You have to square first, take care of the exponent. So it's going to be 16 times 6, which gives you 96 pi. And the units are important. This is centimeters, cubic centimeters, because we're dealing with 3 dimensions. Sometimes they ask for an approximation of the volume, and you have to use 3.14 for pi. In this case, it would be 301.4 cubic centimeters. All right, find the volume of the cylinder. This time we don't know what the radius is, but you notice there's a right triangle. And the hypotenuse is 3 radical 2. And we don't know what these sides are. I notice I can use a 45, 45, 90 triangle, which states that the hypotenuse is square root of 2 times a leg. The legs, you recall, are the sides that make up the 90-degree angle. So the hypotenuse in this case is 3 radical 2. And I set that to radical 2 times x. And if I want to know what x is, I'm going to divide radical 2 to both sides. So x has to equal 3. All right, once we determine that, we're going to substitute 3 into the formula for the radius. So you got 3 squared times 5 times pi. So you get 9 times 5 times pi. So you're going to wind up with 45 pi cubic meters. That's what that is. If you want an approximation of that, it's going to be roughly 141.3 cubic meters if you substitute 3.14 for pi. All right, find the height of the cylinder given the volume is 150 pi cubic centimeters. This time we know what the radius is. We're not given the height, but we're given what the volume is. So I'm going to say 150 centimeters cubed, this is pi, is equal to, well, we know it's going to be 5 squared times pi times the height. Just substitute in the formula. 5 times 5 is 25. You have 150 pi here. And what you're going to do is divide both sides by 25 pi. which will give you 6. But don't forget the units are centimeters, and this is the height. Find the length of the radius, given the volume is 640 pi cubic centimeters. We don't know what the radius is, but you're given the height is 10. So again, you're going to say pi times the radius squared, but you know the height is 10. So you're going to say times 10 equals 640 pi. All right, so you're going to have 10 pi, put that together, radius squared equals 640. And what you want to do is you're going to divide 10 pi to both sides. So you're going to wind up with r squared equals 64. And what you're going to do is take the square root to both sides. So the radius must equal 8. And we're talking centimeters. This concludes the lesson for today.